and Seats?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Deadly Seeds, right by the stage.
Excellent, okay. Has anybody ever heard of Thrush Hermit?
No.
Never.
No.
Never heard of Thrush Hermit?
Never heard.
Well, Thrush Hermit, of course, is from Halifax, Nova Scotia, getting set to release a brand new CD called Clayton Park on Tuesday. That would be February the 9th, 2 days after the show. We got a chance to catch up with the band in their rehearsal space, of all places. This is Thrush Hermit here on MuchEast.
They sound pretty cool.
They're great. If you like the hip, you'll love them.
When I was 17, I took a trip without memory. We drove around in the fair. We spent some time in some cities. Went to Seattle, the Rocky Mountains, Potato State.
And the new record is called Clayton Park. And for those who are not aware of what Clayton Park is, what is it?
It's the suburb in which Rob and Ian and I grew up. Ian was sort of borderline. He was more Fairview. Rob and I were distinctively Clayton Park. It's the neighborhood, you know.
Kevin Hillier says that's where all rock and roll comes from, the suburbs.
But a lot of good rock and roll comes from the suburbs, or at least. Yeah.
The inside joke is all about you. You realize when it comes true. In my heart of hearts, I know the static will start from now until the end.
The last record was out on, of course, the large American recording giant, and that's all changed. So this record is...
We slayed that giant.
You slayed the giant.
Yeah.
Now it's on a Canadian independent giant.
Yeah.
Which is?
Sonic Onion Records.
So why did you decide to go Sonic Onion? Rob?
Well, we, the intention was to kind of do everything pretty much homemade on our own.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's not really any big other great explanation other than
Right.
we know they're pretty. They know the scene in Canada better than anyone else we would know. So, and for this record, we were just like, let's just do something that we can get out in Canada, and just like, as opposed to trying to like do some huge global attack like last time, which kind of imploded. Let's just keep things pretty small, and not small and forward thinking at the same time.
We also made a record with probably about 9 of 11 songs being close to 6 minutes. So, you know, you have to find someone who's willing to put something like that out, too.
On one hand, I'm a patriot. On the other, I'm a skeleton. On one level, I'm a singer. On the other, I'm your brother. On one station, I'm a champion. On another, I'm unknown.
Since the last record, we also have a bit of a personnel change, too. So
Yeah.
Cliff's no longer here, right? What happened to him?
Cliff stopped playing with us.
It was nothing personal,
It was
though.
absolutely nothing personal. He left because he got offered a really good job at a good time, and you know, things. It was very much a friendly thing at the time. It was a direct.
You can't play rock and roll all your life. He's a family man,
Well-
and he had to do what the family man's got to do.
And I mean, it was a drag at the time, but at the same time, he kind of stepped out maybe at the right time. Like we just made a really good record with him, and although it would have been nice to tour behind it with him, at the same time, we accomplished that much, and things were changing after having left Elektra and stuff, and it just seemed to make a lot of sense for us to kind of like to change, and do something different. And so Ben joined. He was, the most.
That's Ben over there.
Certainly the most most wanted candidate in Halifax locally, and there was no one. As soon as we knew Cliff was leaving, he was the first guy we thought of. And the other criteria, he can grow a beard, and he has one, and so Cliff grew a beard on one of our last tours, and it seemed to like be the prerequisite for playing in the Hermit. Because I can't. Ian can grow a mustache. Rob could maybe get some burns, but you know, so you need something. You need that.
You need a manly
You need.
guy in the
Well,
drum
you
spot.
need that so that it legitimizes you.
Tell me a little bit about this record, because I really like it. I think it's like way, well. Not that everything else you've done wasn't great, but this is really, really good. I like it a lot.
I think that we had toured a lot in 1996 and 7 behind Sweet Home Wrecker. A lot of very sad shows south of the border, and some good ones, some good ones here and whatnot. Good shows. And a lot of those really sad shows, all we wanted to do was play songs that lasted for 6 or 7 minutes, because we were playing Sweet Home Wrecker songs, and a lot of those are like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it was just like we'd blow through them, and there'd be no jamming. You just play these pop songs. It was just getting kind of frustrating live, and so all of these songs, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were written to fill that kind of desire to be a bit more jammy live. And Cliff had really reached this point on the drums where he could do these great long triplet heavy, he's getting very into Bonham and all this stuff, and he'd reached this point on the drums. We'd been coaxing him for a long time to like take it and go and to show off more, and he got really good at it. And so it was like, well, let's record a record where the riffs are heavy and there's a lot of spaces in between the riffs, which is essentially the North Dakota formula, where we play a riff and then there's a big gap for a drum fill or whatever. And so we hit, Violent Dreams and Uneventful definitely filled that kind of quotient. I don't think that we focused on that at the expense of the songs. I think the songs are still really good, in fact, better, but maybe because of there's a bit more instrumental playing, it doesn't make you just rely on, words and melody.
And when are you hitting the road?
Late March, something like that, and then we'll go across and back. Don't know with who yet, but whoever it is, they better watch out.